Hey guys, today I'm taking a look at Ion Fury. So this is by 3D Realms, the guys that made Duke Nukem, and so they're kind of back after a while. I saw this game, I remember this game kind of coming out, and then I remember seeing or not hearing much about it, and then I go on their Steam page and they have 5 out of 5s, with top scores, amazing gameplay, and I thought, oh yeah, 3D Realms making a game in modern times but still with the same art style and better character or rather mechanics that are updated to modern standards sounds really cool. So how is the game itself? Well, mechanically it's pretty much okay. The one complaint I did have about it is that the sound design sounds just kind of off. The guns don't feel super impactful. I feel like I'm just unloading a bunch of bullets and they don't just have that same punch that Duke did. The explosions still sound really good though, I have to admit that. You'll have cityscapes exploding and going down and whatnot. But my overall kind of feel for this game, it felt lacking passion. It felt mechanically everything worked, everything functioned correctly. The guns were relatively interesting. The game was also relatively short as well, a good decent length, but like a 6 to 8 hour game for a shooter, and it just felt very okay. I don't know what it is. The other thing they try to do is maybe just more of a modern take. They're trying to turn to a female protagonist who I literally just played the game. I can't remember her name. It was Harrison, Agent Harrison or something. And so she was like, oh, this is a female Duke Nukem, because she says one liner. She says like "Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto," and some other things, and it's actually cringe inducing. I really didn't enjoy it, and I thought about it, and what I thought is that it is possible to take an iconic masculine character and turn them into like a female counterpart. One I think very successful example of that is Devil May Cry, to Bayonetta, where they turned Dante into Bayonetta. And so Bayonetta, she still has this like a sexual, carefree kind of attitude, but she's not just copying all of Dante's styles, and she's not just copying Dante's moveset. She's completely different moveset, personality, everything. And she has her own style about her, and the way she is provocative or whatever is different than the way Dante would be, but they still have this same kind of essence. And here I feel like they just copy pasted a lot of Duke's lines or Duke's personality onto a woman and expected it to work without really giving her some kind of distinct feel. I don't know, but you do see essences of it. Like, I really enjoy how her main revolver is called Loverboy. I don't know, that always made me smile. It kind of had a very kind of coy, carefree nature to it, but that never really ends up shining. I think they just kind of copy pasted this thing to see, oh well, we can just do the opposite for a woman, right? And it just didn't really hit the landing. It's like, okay, cool, that's whatever, but they didn't really spend the time to make her own character, is my point. And I think that'd be a really cool take, but it just didn't hit right. Aside from that, yeah, the naming of the weapons are kind of really forgettable. I think the shotgun's called the Disperser or something, and so just, I don't know, just really forgettable names. So there were some neat mechanics though, vis-a-vis each gun, and this is kind of modern take on a boomer or older kind of shooter, where each gun using the right click, you would have access to its alt fire. You'd press R to reload, even though there wasn't like a reload, like it wouldn't show you your sub ammo. You would just have to, after every 6 shots or so, you'd have to reload. So in order to stop that, you would reload early, essentially. So even if you only had 3 guns or 3 bullets in the gun left, you could still reload technically, which was kind of funny. But yeah, there was a really cool mechanic where the main Magnum Loverboy, I actually really like. Again, it's a Magnum, and it feels like a pea shooter. It just does not have this. Actually, I think it says in the description it's a 22 caliber, so I can kind of forgive it, I think, if that was the case. But it feels like a very weak pistol, but it does a decent amount of damage. Again, another thing that just really, this is kind of like my golden rule for shooters, is that the shotgun does not feel good. It's a pump action shotgun, and for the amount of time it takes to fire and pump it for the next shot, does not feel super impactful. I'd rather something overpowered and ridiculous and fun to use than something that you kind of cringe at using and has, you know, like one of the largest ammo cups in the whole game. It has like 48 bullets in it, so you just always have so much ammo for it, and it's almost like a chore to use it, to the point where at one point in the level I was just holding down the fire button hoping that, you know, I would just run into an enemy as I was firing, because I just literally had so much ammo. And then it was weird because it changed around halfway through the game where I suddenly ran out of ammo and started actually having to conserve it quite a bit until the final boss. So that was nice. I always love having that feeling that, you know, you have to be more strategic with your ammo. They just don't give you a bajillion things, so you have no incentive to use anything else. Anyway, sorry, the cool mechanic I'm trying to get to is the shotgun itself. So when you get the grenade launcher, what's really cool is that they both work on a striker type system of weapon. So if you press the left trigger with the shotgun, it'll actually load the shells for the grenade launcher, and vice versa. And I thought it was kind of cool, and it was a fun way to kind of cheat going through the weapon wheel, because you were able to just, you know, jump to that point and then get, you know, access to the stronger weapons. Besides that, you also have the dual wield fire pistols. They set things on fire, which is really cool. Its alt fire is to reduce it to one pistol so it's more accurate, but I swear no one used that. There was no reason to be more accurate in this game when it's accurate enough. There's also a chain gun that, you know, works pretty much like Doom, as you'd expect. Oh yeah, there were also a bunch of two different types of grenades. One called a cluster puck, which, you know, explodes a wide area, while the other one was a bowling bomb. And I actually really liked this. It was just a take on a normal grenade that you throw, but it acted like a bowling ball, where it would kind of home in and bounce off the walls. It was actually really cool and really fun. And its alt fire for that one is that it would light a fuse and it would explode, so it wouldn't roll forever. Because in the case where it rolls around the environment and it doesn't hit anything that it can destroy, you can just actually pick it up safely, which is pretty neat. But yeah, the enemy, a variety. You have guys in cloaks and hoods who are like, seem to be part of a cult, but not really. And then you have pseudo police officers, and then a bunch of like little crab spider things and floating spider head things. And then a bunch of mechs you fight near the end game, and it's not really consistent as to what's going on. And I guess that touches on the story, which again, I have no idea what's going on for the story, except there's this guy called Dr. Heckle or Heskel, who is I guess he's the bad guy for some reason. He's taken over the city, or is, you know, a corporation biomutant tech hacking, you know, experiments have taken over the city. I forgot to mention the alt fire for the Magnum is super useful. It's actually a homing thing, so like a John Marston or Deadeye or whatever. If you hold it down, it'll shoot 2 bullets per target, so that's, you know, 3 targets total. And it's pretty cool because you can basically just you know, fire it, and for the smaller enemies it's really useful. I really like having a weapon that can just auto aim on all the really tiny enemies that are hard to hit, because it's a real pain. And so actually even the base gun being useful up until the end of the game, I really do appreciate that. And I know it's something really hard to do, but that's a sign of honestly a good shooter for me, despite all the other complaints I have about it. But yeah, the story is really not important at all, like on the same level as Duke Nukem. There are aliens, they're these, you know, dirty bastards, you can go kill them. That's pretty much the extent of the story. Even aesthetically, it seems to be like you're in LA, so it's, you know, it's dealing with the themes of, you know, corporatism and, you know, companies taking over human life and conspiracy and aliens and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But nothing really concrete or messaged or anything. And I really actually, I think my favorite level design, and that it really struck me that as I was playing this, what I really enjoy about these more AA or well-made shooters is actually the level design is just really intricate. You know, you'll find yourself going around a lot. I was just playing, you know, the Doom you know, WADs like TNT Evolution and Evolution and the other one that they released on Steam for free. Those ones I was playing them and I realized, oh, this is nice, but I can also tell it's fan made. Like the way they were kind of messing with the level geometry was kind of amateurish in a certain way, and I really began to appreciate level design while I was playing this game again, because I love it when you're going through the level and you think you're just going through a random thing and it leads you back to the beginning of something or loops into like the entrance, and I always really appreciate that. So I like that about this game. So yeah, it's definitely like a good shooter, a decent shooter. It's not terribly long, it's not terribly amazing. The tone is, again, like I said, is a little bit strange. Like one thing that really turned me off or gave me a was when you beat each zone, which is a series of roughly 3 or so levels, it'll grade you on essentially, you know, how many kills you got, how many secrets you found, and your time. You know, all that very typical stuff. And so I was. And so it grades you on that, and then it says, oh, you know, you could have gotten more kills, or, you know, you missed some secrets. And then the text always says, you know, you need to go a little bit further to get 100%. Only real gamers go for 100%. And then it says, are you a real gamer? Like, that just screams to me that was written by someone who doesn't really play games. And I just have this vibe that they brought in some like person like, oh, what if we made Duke Nukem a woman and just swapped the rules and then just, you know, made gamers open their minds. Like, I don't know. There's a very weird vibe going on with this game, and it feels kind of, again, passionless. It's like, okay, here's this weapon, here's the whatever weapon, here's this sewer level. I don't know. I didn't feel like the game itself was fine, but at the same time, I felt like this is not worth buying. This is essentially not a game you need to play. Like, and it's weird, right? Because it's something that came out, and from all the reviews and the media around it and the way it advertises and talks about itself on its own page, feels like this is a game you need to care about. But then if you look online at the discussion around it, this is not in anyone's top 10 or top 20 or even top 50. It's just like a derivative of another type of game that really doesn't have as much passion behind it. It's a very strange experience. But yeah, again, one thing I did like is that it was easy to tell which doors needed key cards. I mean, not that's a thing that is a problem in other games. One thing I did find, though, is I hate getting lost in these kinds of shooters because they're supposed to be like really fast paced and whatever and rapid. And I just swear, like, you know, you open up the mini map, and even on Doom, it shows where the doors are. Like, oh, like sometimes I get a red key and I was like, I have not seen a red door, and I have to go around looking for it, and then it turns out it's like a random red switch in the middle of nowhere. That's not even, and that was actually in Doom's case in the WAD. It wasn't even on the map. And again, the one does not color code the doors at all. So in that case in Doom, it was a switch. But yeah, I really like the fast-paced nature of this game. Again, it's built on, you know, the principles of Doom and the style of Duke Nukem and the style of Doom, which I guess is technically built on Doom as well. But yeah, I didn't feel like there was a significant level. Like, I think the coolest one is you go to her old police academy. I thought, oh, maybe she'll meet one of her old colleagues and that'll be a boss fight. Or maybe there'll be like a mechanic where she, you know, finds her old badge or something. Or there's some scene where, I don't know, you interact with something and then it goes like a memory flashback. I don't know, something, right? But none of that. This is just Duke Nukem, but just with more or different, slightly different. Again, there's a lot of really nice modern little things they added. Like, you can interact. I love this. You can interact with almost everything. Like, yes, you can lift up the toilet seat in the washroom. Yes, you can interact and grab. Could you grab certain things? but you could interact with, like, I don't know, random things like, like light switches, for example, and the room would be illuminated. So I really enjoyed that density of interactability. I think that's a real there's a real case to be made that if you want your world to feel real, you don't need to model it, you need to make it function real. So that means it's function over looking real, and I really appreciate that with games like Luigi's Mansion 3 is a perfect example of that. Even Luigi's Mansion 1 and I was just thinking of it, you could argue pathologic maybe, but no, it's just kind of like everything's an inventory system. I was thinking of Shenmue. Shenmue is a game that really tried that idea, but didn't exactly execute it well. I think Luigi's Mansion 3 executed that really well because it works within the logic of the game world. So it's not like everything is super hyper interactable, like not every knob on a door like Shenmue was trying to do, but every object in that room is there for a reason. Like, it can be interacted with. It's just not salad dressing or set dressing, which I actually did appreciate, and I do appreciate in certain games. And in this game, I did appreciate the opening level where you have, I guess, some club or something. The lights are going all around. There's the vodka and beer, and you can drink it and get a little health boost. It makes you, I think, a little bit wobbly, but again, nothing super intense that makes me go, oh wow, that's such a neat little Easter egg or thing they added. There's not like a cool mechanic where you can go on a stripper pole and then like get a 360 degree slow-mo version where you can shoot guys in slow motion and have, that kind of thing going. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas here. So yeah, I feel like this was kind of like a weird forced game that isn't necessarily bad, but it's not worth playing, and it's so short. I mean, play it if you want, if you're really hungry for a shooter, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's whatever they wanted this to be. But yeah, anyway guys, that's pretty much it. I'll see you later. Bye.